What's up guys, welcome back, it's Sean here in F1 22 preparing for our second race of the season in my team career. Not got a lot of time before heading to Jeddah, so a little bit of team building going in there. We get the Venturi tunnels coming in as well, and we're going to skip these hot laps. We don't get enough for them to make it worthwhile, so we're going to head straight into the race weekend. Or we're not. We're going to quickly check. I don't think we have enough money. We do. We have $1 million here, so we can upgrade our second driver's experience stat. Or purchase a personnel spec for the analysis week. That will help going forward with our second driver. So we head into qualifying for Jeddah. It was a poor first race of the season for us. We qualified well, but struggled in the race, just heading backwards most of the time. The car was not feeling great with the heavy fuel load at the start of the race around Bahrain, so hopefully we'll be better off round at Jeddah. It is a track more for speed, which should hopefully suit our car. We have the Ferrari power unit, which we chose at the start, which has a lot of power to go and get untidy on our first lap round Jeddah for qualifying. And we have that power unit that gives us the power advantage over pretty much everyone else on the circuit. It's only really Ferrari and Haas that actually have a faster time of more power than us around the circuit. So hopefully we will be able to find a bit of rhythm, which we're not doing on this first lap, and set a good time to give us a good chance in our second race, and maybe even push for our first points of the championship. It's a big ask, I know, with the car that we have, but I have a feeling we could have something special as again we're untidy, a little knock on the wall before heading into Sector 3. But hopefully we'll be able to find something and make something happen in this race. So we come round to the final corner of this first lap. It's not going to be an amazing time. We're definitely going to have to go out again. We're untidy in sections, but it's good to get a lap time on the board. So we come across the line, it's just under the 133 mark, which initially puts us in third, but there's no way we'll be staying there. So we'll have to go out for another lap, as we're doing right now, around the final bend. Can we improve on our time? We're down in 16th as it is at the moment. Can we do any better? No, we can't. 16th is what it is, and that's where we'll start the race from.
So here we are then, welcoming you today to one of the jewels of the Arab world, Jeddah. One of the biggest cities in Saudi Arabia, second only to Riyadh, gateway to Mecca, and one of the biggest ports in the region. And now, host to the Saudi Arabia Grand Prix. So let's take a look at the topographical map of the Jeddah street circuit. As you can see, a number of challenging corners for the drivers to master here. We'll see just how much the teams have benefited from their time spent in practice this weekend. And like many street circuits, this track has the potential to punish drivers that get it wrong. Let's hope we avoid any safety cars today. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Perez, Sainz, George Russell and Hamilton, Bottas, Fernando Alonso, Norris and Daniel Ricciardo, Gasly, Ocon, Yuki Tsunoda and Mick Schumacher, Magnussen, the owner-driver, Guan Yu Zhou and Sebastian Vettel, Oscar Piastri, Albon, Stroll and Nicholas Latifi. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box. Ant, it's fantastic to have you with us here, but I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
Well, I imagine they'll be starting to feel the adrenaline as they anticipate the run down into turn one, a bit like preparing to go into battle. The unknown situation will bring nerves, but that's a good thing. It will keep them focused on the moment and on their surroundings as we build towards the start of the Grand Prix.
So it's not what we wanted from qualifying, 16th on the grid. So we head to 5 red lights, and it's going to be lights out, and away we go for our second race in this My Team career. It's an alright start It's not amazing. The second half isn't going to get challenged. We have to go for a big dive on the inside to not run into the back. It actually gains us a few places up into 13th, but we have a warning for the collision. We're tucked in behind Gasly and Schumacher, but we've managed to gain places not in the fairest way possible. We've gone away with it. We're hurrying up the inside of Sonoda early on as well to try and make another place. And we're going to have to settle in behind in 14th. We're only 4 places off that points place, made up too early on. It's a great start. I'm not sure the stewards would see it that way, and maybe we've got away with that quite a bit with that big dive up the inside. If we look to the inside, maybe no chance up the inside. Around the long sweeping hairpin behind Sonoda, we can't make a move again to try and make another place in this first lap. We're going to tuck in behind for the rest of this lap, or for the next part of this lap. We're not going to have much of a chance to overtake until we get DRS from the third lap, unless Sonoda is able to make a mistake. We're not going to have a huge amount of advantage early on. We need to make sure we keep the tyres up to a nice temperature early on, and so we don't lose any control of the car. We also have Ocon battling behind us. We little knock on the wall there early on. That's not what we want. That untidiness from qualifying coming through again. We've got to watch our back from Ocon as we come onto the home straight for the first time in this race. It's Verstappen who leads after the first race, setting the fastest lap, and Leclerc, who started up there with him as well. Be another good battle between them for the lead of the championship after this race. As we go into turn 1, we get a nice entry into that corner, so we tuck right in behind Sonoda, and as we come later down into the lap, we're alongside Sonoda to go around the outside, and we're able to do it holding really well around the outside and cut back in across Sonoda, lock the place in up to 13th, and we're right on the back of Gasly, trying to take a different line, see if we can force a gap as we go through to the next few corners. There's no way through as Gasly's right on the back of Schumacher, but that's 3 places in 2 laps we've now made up. So great start to this race for us, and hopefully we'll be able to carry this on going forward and have a decent race. As we get forward to the first part of lap 3, Schumacher and Gasly battling side by side. Can we spot a gap? No, we can't. We look to go 3 wide on the exit. There's no chance. We have to tuck in behind. A little knock on the back of Schumacher as Gasly goes through into 11th. So there's definitely a chance for us to make a pass here as these two battle each other. They're going to be slowing each other down, and hopefully a gap will open up at some point. But we still have Ocon behind us. Another big hit on the back of Schumacher, which we get away with. And Ocon changing around the outside now of the long left-hander. We have the inside line and able to have the grip to keep ahead of him and keep 13th place, which is crucial. We don't want to be moving back early on in this race in lap 3. So we're going to try and tuck in behind Schumacher again, hopefully wait for him to make a move with DRS to get by. And again, round to the final corner, we're back into the back of Schumacher again as we try to defend from Ocon. We were very late on the brake, having to lock up. How we haven't damaged that front wing on the back of Schumacher, I don't know. Haas must be getting very frustrated with us. Ocon goes from the inside of turn 1. We force him to go really tight, and we're able to go round the outside, have the inside line for turn 2, and keep 13th place again. As Schumacher and Gasly are side by side, Schumacher can't make the move, but he has to tuck in behind for the next corner, and the positions remain unchanged somehow despite the 2 challenges going on there, and we just need to stick on the back. We know that a gap is going to open up at some point for us with these 2 challenging, and this could be our chance here. We plenty of ERS around the outside and try and challenge Schumacher around the outside of the long bend, late on the braking so we can get ahead, and we're able to hold our line around the outside up into 12th. Schumacher passed, and now we set our sights on Gasly, who's only half a second ahead. He may able to make a bit of a gap while we're making that move, so we're going to have to put a bit of work in to try and catch up to him, but we will have DRS in him soon along this straight here, which Gasly won't have, as Norris is 4 seconds ahead of us, about 3.5 ahead of Gasly. So there's a nice bit of a gap there, which is really useful for us, as it means that we can get 2 lots of DRS on Gasly, and which he won't get to close in that gap and have it again on the final straight. But here comes Schumacher around the outside of the final bend. We defend to the inside. He can't go around the outside and manage to keep into 12th and successfully defend, but Ocon is able to get through on Schumacher at the end of this lap and come to 13th. So like Ocon's really going to be a nuisance for us. He's going to be hanging on behind us. We move further into lap 5, We've closed the gap to Gasly round the final bend. DRS open again, but here comes Ocon once again trying to make a move on the inside into turn 1. He gets past us across the finish line. We have to brake round the outside. He goes really tight, knock on the wall from Ocon as we got inside on turn 2 and able to take the place back and hold on to 12th with plenty of ERS on the exit. We're kind of lucky that Ocon made that bit of contact with the wall. Otherwise, I feel like he would have had an easy run in there as he already had got past us. You've got to be very careful with Ocon from behind. He's going to be there all the time. As we move into lap 7 now, we're still on the back of Gasly. We can't get far enough ahead to make a move, but we're going to look for the same move as Schumacher we did earlier in the race. So we head to the outside, into the long bend. Can we go all the way around the outside of Gasly? We've got the grip. Yes, we can. We stay alongside. Do we have the exit? Oh, a little squirm from Gasly on the exit, and we're able to get through. He loses a bit of control, and that's brilliant for us. We move up into 11th place, 1 place off the points. I've made a bold claim in qualifying that we might be able to get up into a points place. Obviously, we're over 2.5 seconds away from Norris, but we've made great progress early on in this race to give us somewhat of a chance. All it will take is someone to crash out of the race, which is very possible on a street circuit, as Gasly looks to make a move around the outside of the final corner. He gets ahead early on, but then can't hold on as we have the inside line and manage to protect ourselves. We've got away with that one again, but as I was saying, all it takes is someone to have an issue ahead of us, knock onto a wall in this tight street circuit, and we could have a chance of getting a point here. As again, we're coming into the final bend, and Ocon, who has got past Gasly, is looking to move around the outside, and we again defend that inside nicely. As long as we hold that inside line round the final bend, we shouldn't have an issue. And it also means that Ocon just has to brake so much that he doesn't have a chance to come back at us down this straight, and the fact that he got ahead also gave us DRS, so he doesn't have it down that home straight either. And on lap 9, Daniel Ricciardo has pulled up to the side of the track right at the pit lane. We said earlier all we needed was someone to have an issue for it to move into the points, and there we have it. Daniel Ricciardo is out of the race, and we move up into 10th position on the 9th lap of this race, going into the 10th lap. We have a real chance of points now if we're able to just defend from Ocon and Gasly for the rest of this race. Hopefully we'll have a decent enough pit stop when it comes round. We are a bit slow on those still with having the inexperience of our pit crew. Ocon looks to make a move around the outside of the long left-hander, as we've done to them in the past, but he can't find the grip for it, and we are able to hold on to 10th. He can't make the move stick, and we live to fight another day in the points, and that's all we need to do is just stick it out and try and defend as we look for the front of this race now, as Verstappen is leading with Leclerc tucked in behind, challenging all the way. Only 0.2 of a second behind. It's going to be a great battle, or looks like it's going to be a great battle this entire season between these two. As Leclerc looks to make a move around the outside to go into the final bend. Can he get the job done? Verstappen has the inside to hold. Leclerc's having to hold on the outside. He can't get back for the switchback, so just have to tuck him behind for the home straight. As Verstappen and Leclerc both put into the pits at the same time. No different strategies there. So that could help Perez, who holds out as we come into the final bend again, and Ocon has flown by us. We stick to the inside and able to tuck in and keep that place again. That's some great braking from us to defend as we pull into the pit now as well for our stop to move onto the hard tyres. We get the car slowed down, and hopefully we'll have a decent stop here to keep us in that points position. As Gasly pits in behind as well, that's helpful, but differing for Ocon, he might be able to get an advantage here. 2.5 seconds in the stop, it's not great, and Gasly's able to get ahead of us in the pit. That's not what we wanted at all. The stop was too slow. AlphaTauri, a blinding stop there to get Gasly out ahead of us, and that will put him in potentially 10th, maybe 11th. We try and get some heat into these tyres early on so we can try and fight against Gasly as we come into the end of this lap. We want that tyre temperature and need the grip, so we have DRS. We can use it right in this first section, get alongside Gasly, and we're able to get just our nose in front. We have to run quite wide. We're able to hang on. Gasly back round the outside. It's a great battle between us, but it means that Gasly will get DRS down for this next DRS section into the final corner. It's not going to help us at all. So Gasly goes to move to the inside and down the home straight as we come following Gasly. Can we get out in front of the pits? We move to the outside to try and make a move into turn 1, round the outside. Can we tuck him for 2? Schumacher's in front of us, Tsunoda's in front of us, Ocon's in front of us. We've lost so much from the pit stop. We're down into 13th. We initially lost to Gasly. We managed to make that place back, but 3 other cars have been able to get past us. We're right on the back of Schumacher. He had cold tyres, were able to make the move early on and get through there into 12th. It was great work from us as we have the hotter tyres, have them to temperature around the final bend now of lap 13, right on the back of Soda. We have DRS. Again, his tyres will just be coming up to temperature now, so he'll be able to start defending a bit more. We have the pace down the home straight. We're going to move to the outside like we did with Gasly, try and stick it around the outside. We have inside for the second corner and slightly force him, just push him a bit wide, let him know that we're there and able to get ourselves into 11th. And we'll look again for the lead of the race as it's Leclerc who is now ahead. He's managed to make moves in the pit stop. Verstappen is now stuck behind. It didn't work out for Perez going longer. He's still in third, half a second behind his teammate. But will Leclerc be able to hang on to the end of this race now? That's a great move by Ferrari to be able to make that stick through the pit stops. It's incredible by them and could be crucial for the championship later on in the race. What a battle this is going to be between those two as we see Ocon and Norris battling now in 9th and 10th. As this could be crucial for us, as if these two get into a big fight, they could slow each other down and open the door for us. We're 2.8 seconds behind, so we're nowhere near at the moment to make a move as Ocon's looking to move around the outside into turn 1 on Norris. He gets just ahead. Norris has the inside for turn 1. Ocon back on for turn 2, but Norris is squeezed up against the wall. Can he hold on? Yes, he can, as he has the inside line for the next corner. Norris is able to get through, but no, Ocon then has the inside for the right-hander, and Ocon's through into 9th, Norris down into 10th, and what that has done is brought us a second and a half closer to this battle just through that first section through sector 1, and that's given us a great chance now to hopefully try and come and battle for that final points place again as Norris comes to fight back around the final bend. Ocon defends that inside as we've done so well in this race, and they're able to head down the straight. Norris will have DRS, I believe. Yep, Norris has the DRS, moves to the outside to try and make the move into turn 1, do what Ocon did to him last time round. So he'll have the outside, then the inside for the next bend, side by side, and again that's going to help pull us back, and you can see that we're closer in the background now. As Norris tries to get ahead into the left-hander, has the room for the right-hander on the inside, and Norris is now back in front into 9th, and we're right in behind Ocon now, 0.4 of a second behind as we fly wide on the exit, as we lose a lot of that time already, as we get untidy on the exit of the corner there. But this battle has been a godsend for us as we're 0.6 behind. We've not fallen too far back with that mistake, and we will have a chance to join this fight soon enough as we're in the DRS range to be able to make this move. As Ocon gets back through, we're right on the back of Norris now. It's a 3-car battle for this 9th place, as they've hindered each other the entire way. They should have just both gone, we're in the points, we want to keep our points because one of them is going to risk dropping out now. So we go around the outside for the long left-hander, but we can't get anywhere to battle against Norris. Ocon stays in front. We can't make it stick like we have previously in the race and earlier on, as Verstappen now looks to make a move on Leclerc into turn 1. Can he make it stick round the outside of turn 2? And Verstappen has retaken the lead of the race. What a battle going on between those two as well. Battles everywhere during this race for the lead, for the points. And Perez has somehow got past Leclerc. We've missed that one there. As we follow Perez now in behind it, Leclerc's managed to just stick behind him. So maybe going longer has worked out really well for Perez. And he's somehow managed to find some pace on these hards, and that will then help him later on as well, as he'll have slightly fresher tyres than both Leclerc and Verstappen into the final laps of this race, as Ocon and Norris go side by side again. Ocon sticking in 9th, managing to keep ahead, and we're just trailing behind on the back of Norris, hoping to try and find a gap somewhere. as these two keep battling and try and slow each other down. As we go around the outside of Norris, can we make the move work this time? No, we back out early on and can't make it go around the outside as Norris closes the door on the exit, and we'll stick with Ocon, Norris, then us in the pecking order for this final places. And Tsunoda creeping into the back of the shot here as well. Can he make this time back because of the three battle going on here? And he might even be able to challenge for the points as well. So Ocon and Norris with this battle could really have hampered themselves, and potentially, if Tsunoda's able to get the pace to get right onto the back of us, could even bring himself and we could both knock them out of the points. That would be a great sight. As we come around the final bend, oh, it's tight onto the back of Norris. We braked late. We've managed to avoid the back of Norris's car. We're right on the back now in this DRS train. Can Ocon defend into turn 1 as Norris is trying to hang on the outside? Can't do it. We looking for a gap. There's no way through at all. But we managed to pounce on Norris, who's napping, as he can't get past Ocon. But we make the move into turn 1 and turn 2, and we're through into 10th. Lando Norris didn't see it coming at all. He was too focused on trying to get past Ocon into turn 1 and trying to find a gap that he left the door open for us, and we're able to move into the points for this race. Can we make it stick though? That's the problem. Is Norris is going to be tucked in behind. He's going to be ready to go again, but we're right on the back of Ocon. We're going to be all in his mirrors trying to see if we can make a move. We were able to get ahead of him earlier in the race. Can we do it again now? We follow him into the final corner. There's no chance of a move around the bend, but we're tight on the back on the exit. Plenty of ERS. We don't have a huge amount left, but we're going to use enough on the exit to get a good start on him. We look to move to the outside down the home straight. We've got him for the turn 1. We have that outside line into the inside line that we want, and we're through on lap 20. We are into 9th place in this race. The bold claim of points could be coming true here. It looked like he's going to earlier. It looked like we were going to lose it after the pit stop, but we have a chance here again as Leclerc, who's got himself up into second, is looking to make a move into turn 1 on Verstappen. Has that outside line, switch to the inside for the second one. Can Verstappen hold on? They're side by side as they come to the next little bend, as Perez is tucked right behind as well. What a battle this is for the lead, as Leclerc is able to get up the inside of the right-hander, and Leclerc takes the lead of the race again. Verstappen in second, Perez in third. What a three-way battle this is, mirroring the battle that we have for the points positions. Who will end up winning this race? It could be anyone. Still, as Sainz is creeping into the background there as well, I don't think he'll be able to pull back on them and give the Ferraris another chance, because that would help Leclerc massively if Sainz could come in behind and put some pressure on both Red Bulls, because he's a sitting duck at the moment ahead. They've both got DRS behind him, so into those DRS sections he can't really do much. He has the power, the raw engine power, but the DRS makes so much of a difference that he could really do with his teammate there to put some pressure on them and make them think about what's behind them, because both of these Red Bulls can work together now to hunt down Leclerc and both try and get past him. As we see Verstappen look for a move around the outside into the final bend, he gets his nose just ahead, but Leclerc crucially has that inside line, which we know we can defend so well. As we move back to us and we hit the wall on the exit of the corner, we get a little bit of front wing damage. We've only got a lap and a half to go. It's not worth bringing ourselves in. We're just going to have to try and defend now for the final part of this race. As we see, that's what Leclerc's doing round the final bend on the last lap. Verstappen moves to the outside again, heading to the final corner, but Leclerc crucially has that inside line again. He's able to hold it on the inside. Verstappen can't make the move, but they're side by side down the straight. It's going to be neck and neck as they cross the line, and Leclerc's just going to get there with Verstappen in third, Verstappen in second, Perez in third, and Sainz was able to close the gap a bit. What a finish that was for the lead of this race. As we're now challenged by Ocon down the outside into the final bend. We have that inside line, he gets it just ahead. We're able to tuck in on the inside, that crucial inside line. We hold it together, we have the DRS, and we'll be able to see ourselves across the line for 9th place to take our first points of this My Team career, and only our second race. What a drive that was, what a race that was, not just for us but elsewhere in the field at the top of that leaderboard to try and win the race. What a race that was. We see Ferrari celebrating now for their win.
Anthony, what made the difference out there today?
Well, I honestly feel it was down to the driver and car today. I mean, we can talk driver skill all day, but if you don't have a solid team to back that, you're never going to get anywhere. When you hit that sweet spot of having both an excellent driver and an incredible car, that's when you see results like those we witnessed today.
And here we are, a team
So we
that is
see
no
Leclerc
stranger to the podium,
coming out onto
taking
the
their
podium
place on
for
top
his
once
win,
again. A
joined by
sublime
the
race
two
today,
Red Bulls
and
to
a stunning
complete
win
the
for Ferrari.
podium. What a battle this is going to be for the championship between Ferrari and Red Bull for both drivers and constructors. Can't wait to see how this unfolds. Great race for us, and hopefully we'll be able to take this momentum into the next race of the season, where we'll head to Australia, the former opening race of the season, with the new layout which we'll be driving for the first time. So be sure to stick around for that in the next episode.
Driver standings. Well, that lead at the top has somewhat shrunk today. Now, let's discuss, Ant.